Most people don't realize that they may be the ones keeping themselves broke. What if I told you that some of your financial struggles may not be due to bad luck, but due to the fact that some of the habits that we'll be talking about today will still be present in your life? So let's get into today's video where I unpack some habits that may be keeping you and stopping you from thriving financially. Let's get into it. So the first one that may still be present in your life is the lack of self-leadership. When I heard the term self-leadership, I was like, what's that? Lead oneself? How does one lead oneself? But basically, it means taking responsibility of your growth, of your decisions, and of your actions. It means that you're not waiting for someone to push you forward. You're not waiting for someone to tell you what to do, to tell you to go after certain things. You're able to lead yourself. You're able to overcome the temptations of being lazy, and you're able to get yourself to do the hard things, to do the required things. So when you think of that as self-leadership, imagine then the lack thereof. When you then lack self-leadership, that means that you're locking yourself in a cycle of poor decision making. You're locking yourself in missing great opportunities that could yield good results. You're locking yourself in lack of self-discipline. All of this will then obviously stop you from thriving or being the best that you can financially. And the wealth we're talking about is the one that is gained with intentional effort, with planning. Because we know that wealth gained hastily will dwindle, according to Proverbs 13, verse 11. We're not talking about gambling. We're not talking about luck here. We're here to put in the work. So if you can't lead yourself to put in the work, then you're going to be relying on reactive living, where anybody calls you, you're there. Anything that you want to eat, you're there. Anywhere that you want to go, you're there. You're into emotional spending. You can't manage your time versus, proactive living, where you're budgeting, where you are practicing delayed gratification, where you are mindful of your time. So when you think about the lack of self-leadership, and we all can really get better at that, because that means we're overcoming things like procrastination and all of that. Once you get better at leading yourself, firstly, you can lead others better. You can't lead others if you can't lead yourself well. And when you're talking about leading others, that is even a skill set that can help you thrive financially, but all starts with leading yourself. So how well are you leading yourself today? I know I can do better leading myself. How about you? The second habit that may still be present in your life is the YOLO mindset. You only live once mindset. This mindset is common in our generation, because I had a conversation with someone recently and she was like, how well or how far do we actually think? Most people think up until they're 30, maybe 40s, but by the grace of God, we'll live a longer life and our bodies will be strong until the day that we die. We're going to have a long, beautiful life by God's grace if Jesus tarries. But if you're only thinking about the next 2 years, the next 3 years, if your mindset and your vision is just that short, then you're going to be making decisions that are just for the now. You're not thinking about your pension. You're not thinking about your retirement. You're not thinking about, even the next few years to come. That really, really impacts the decisions that you're making today. It impacts if this trend is worth spending on. It impacts if this travel is worth going on, if this experience has to happen now, if I have to empty my bank account for this now. Do you get what I mean? So when you overcome the YOLO mindset and you think more long term, you're able to overcome things like lifestyle inflation, because you have a goal. You know that there's more ahead. You know that, there's planning for the future. So though the YOLO mindset, you see the consequences in the future, if you start looking at the now and just simply think about, if I spend that extra £50 today, I could be like £50 better off in a month's time, in 3 months' time. But sometimes we're only thinking about the now. I just want to satisfy that now. And that goes back again to the first point of leading yourself, where you are able to overcome instant gratification and you're thinking long term. You're thinking the prolonged. You're thinking, what consequences would this have on my financial future? Long term. Proverbs 21:20 says, there is precious treasure and oil in the house of the wise who prepare for the future, but a short-sighted and foolish man swallows it up and wastes it. So Let's not be part of the latter, but the former, where we are saving, where we are investing, where we're not just thinking about the now, but we're also thinking about the future, where it's not, I'm going to think about it then or whenever it comes by. Que sera, sera. It's now. The decision starts now. The third thing that may be present in your life is delaying your financial responsibilities. There might be excuses like they didn't teach me that in school, or I don't earn enough, or when I earn more, or I don't have the time. So many different reasons to validate delaying your financial responsibility. But the truth is, everybody's responsible for themselves financially. Yeah, there's certain systems in place that make it harder, or certain things or certain backgrounds that may make it harder. But at the end of the day, you have a certain level of responsibility for yourself financially. So educate yourself financially, learn about taxes, learn about the different types of savings account, learn about interest rates, learn about financial things that don't come to one's mind naturally because, again, it wasn't taught, or you may not have seen that growing up. So you have to take responsibility of your finances and financial education, and that would inform you of much better choices that you can make, because there are so many choices out there, but we tend to then fall into the usual, the general, the majority, when there are other options that you could have had access to if only you just took a step further to learn about it, took a step further to research into it. It is to no other person's benefit but yourself to educate yourself financially. And what that helps you do is that, firstly, again, it helps you plan for the future as to what options are available to you. It helps you build systems now so that you can put things in place to help you grasp certain opportunities better. When you're not responsible financially, when you delay that education, when you delay that knowledge seeking financially, then you're just delaying the outcomes that you could potentially grasp from knowing more. When you start now and you start early, you can lock in so many benefits, one of them being compound interest. Time would be on your side. If you invest, if a 20-something invests $100 per month, £100 per month now, if someone in their 20s is investing consistently versus someone that's in their 30s that just started and is even trying to make up for the lost time, the person who started investing in their 20s or even earlier and they were consistent would be significantly far better when it comes to gaining the benefits because of things like compound interest. So there's certain things that you can grasp when you know more, when you know better. So be responsible financially. Don't delay your financial education. Don't delay your financial responsibilities. Take charge of your finances and you'd be steering your ship in a direction of thriving financially. The fourth thing that may still be present in your life is monthly chokeholds, I call it. Monthly chokeholds. This could be a controversial one. I understand the benefit of good credit. However, bad credit or just completely relying on the credit system, I think definitely can stifle you unless your assets are paying for your liabilities. But if you have an outgoing here, an outgoing there, an outgoing here on a monthly basis, then all of that needs to first go before you can actually have a clear picture of your financial status for the month. Whereas if you are able to pay things off annually or avoid paying things off monthly, then you're able to keep more to yourself monthly, therefore being able to save more, being able to invest more. You just have more to work with versus money sucking responsibilities coming at you monthly. And it's not that the bills wouldn't be there, it's just that you're taking a different approach to how you handle the bills. I understand that it can be a lot dealing with it all at once, but sometimes when you can and if you can, compare the interest that comes with monthly. I always say this, the times that I've paid for my phone monthly, I'm always so annoyed. I'm always so vexed because I'm like, why did I pay that much for 2 years? And firstly, the phone's out of date now. Secondly, it's just not worth what it was before, but I'm still paying nearly as much. And the interest, obviously, I've paid a lot in interest versus if I just paid the whole thing then. The same goes with paying your mortgage off early, all of those things when it comes to, credit and spreading payments. It's all about getting more money from you. So where you can, if you can, reducing your monthly payments will definitely help you thrive better financially, like I said, unless you have assets that are generating dividends that can help you cover your monthly expenses, then it would just always be a liability. So the more you reduce the liability, the better for your financial picture. The fifth thing that you may still be doing that is holding you back from thriving financially is depending on your degree alone. We're living in a world where it's not just about your degree anymore. It's not just about getting another master's, getting 3 masters, getting a PhD. All of those things are great. They sound good. They are wonderful. However, if you're thinking about thriving financially, you really need to think about how they would impact your finances versus how well they sound or how accepted it is in society. Most of the time, it's not adding any more to your finances. It's just probably going to lock you in a more glorified job. But I'm not saying this to say don't do all of those things. I'm saying it to say just be aware that there are other skills that you can be tapping into, high income skills that you can be developing in beyond your degree, so that when your degree is not employable, or if you wanted the choice of just pivoting or trying something different, you have skill sets that you can leverage on to give you better opportunities, or just allow you to try a new opportunity. And these skill sets don't have to be a degree. They don't have to be a big thing that you have to pay for. It could be in the little things that you're practicing. It could be in extra courses that you take, like little courses. But just have it in mind that depending on your degree alone doesn't cover you to thrive financially. It just secures you in one way, but who knows if that one way would always be available. And the last thing that may still be present in your life today is poor negotiation skills. A minute for this one, because sometimes I get scared to negotiate, but over the years, by the grace of God, I've gotten better at negotiating, and I still feel like I have a long way to go. But negotiate. Most things can be negotiated. Obviously, you're not going to go into a store and like ask for a different price of a shirt when it's tagged that way. But most things can be negotiated, especially obviously your salary. You can negotiate flexible working. You can negotiate your holidays. You can negotiate at the garage. You can negotiate. I even heard someone negotiating for Airbnb, like unless like you just don't feel led to and you're just willing to, spend money. There was something I paid for the other day and I was like, damn, like I just didn't feel like negotiating there, but I really could have. And I know if I did, at least I'd cut off like £10 from that thing. So when you don't negotiate, and I was kicking myself in the butt after because I knew that I could have negotiated and I just couldn't be bothered. But when you get stronger at the negotiating skills, you are maximizing your purchasing power, what your money can get. You're not just throwing money at the table. You're giving yourself better rates. You're reducing your bills. You're just negotiating better. You're getting better for yourself. You're not just leaving money on the table. Now it may seem like £10 here or £100 there, but when you master this for the little things, when it comes to the big things, you're able to do that better. When it comes to buying a house, you're able to knock off a good 5K, a good 10, 15K if you're good at negotiating. So negotiate. And the thing about negotiating is, for me, it seems like, I can't be bothered. But the truth is, the worst I can say is no, and you just pay it. You just pay whatever is required. But at least you tried, and then you can get yourself a better rate and save a little coin for yourself. But obviously, like I said, these little coins is not what exactly would make you thrive financially, but being strong at this skill or aiming to get stronger at this skill would eventually definitely help you thrive financially, because if you can negotiate in the small things, you can negotiate in the big things, and the accumulation of all these negotiations helping you to grab better deals is just helping you to get more for your money. So remember that your financial future isn't determined by luck, but by the actions that you're taking today. Proverbs 14:23 says, all hard work brings a profit, but mere talk only leads to poverty. So work diligently, develop your skills, and be patient. Out of the few habits that we've unpacked today, which one are you choosing to get better at, to align you better for thriving financially? For me, I'll probably say all of them, but if I had to pick one, definitely getting better at self-leadership and also getting better at my negotiation skills. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button, and more importantly, check out the channel for more videos like this. Until next time, bye.